At various locations, the National Orientation Agency emphasized that coronavirus is real and encouraged the people to comply with necessary precautions for their safety.
Wearing a face mask alone cannot prevent COVID-19. In addition to the mask, wash your hands frequently with soap.
We make sure people use their face mask.
For the agency to achieve the needed goal was as a result of effective collaboration with Unique Friends and Intimate Ladies Associations from 18 and local government area of Akwa Ibom State. Uduak Etam, NTA News.
And that does it from here. It's back to Ifoma for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you, Dibabari. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture has confirmed the outbreak of African swine fever in the country. Chief Veterinary Officer of the Federation, Olanirun Alabi, in an exclusive interview with NTA says steps are being taken by government officials to curtail and stop the spread of the disease. Musa Baba Aliyu has the details.
In the last few weeks, we are beginning to record increases in the number of outbreaks, which of course is not peculiar to Nigeria.
The African swine virus was first noticed in Lagos State in a farm located at Okearo, affecting more than 20,000 pigs. The virus later spread to Ogun and Abia states. Even though it is not the first time Nigeria is experiencing the outbreak, farmers are afraid that this time around it will be hard on their socioeconomic well-being. The Chief Veterinary Officer of the Federation says the disease is harmless to humans, but can kill pigs within few days.
The disease has no vaccination. There's no vaccine for it. So the best control for African swine fever is putting in place a very good biosecurity program, which of course most of these farmers we have tried in several ways to create awareness on how to put biosecurity on their farms to prevent African swine fever.
The federal government has already deployed her veterinary officers with a view to curtail the spread of the disease. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control has reported 573 new cases of COVID-19 at about midnight of 15th June 2020. The breakdown of the figures shows that Lagos State has 216 new cases, Rivers has 103, Oyo 68, Edo 40, Kano 21, Gombe has 20, while the FCT has 17 new cases. Others are Delta 13 new cases, Plateau and Bauchi states have 12 each, Niger has 10, Kebbi 9, Ogun and Ondo 8 each, Abia State has 7, Nasarawa 5, Borno, Kwara, Benue and Anambra states have 1 new case each. As at now, Nigeria recorded 16,658 cases of COVID-19, with 5,349 of them discharged, while 424 patients died. Kaduna State government has directed the removal of roadblocks at the various boundaries of the state and has ordered relevant agencies to dismantle and relocate the barricades that enforce the ban on interstate travel. In a statement issued by the Special Advisor on Media and Communication, Mr. Muyiwa Adekeye, the state government said boundary patrols undertaken by state government officials as part of the quarantine regulations have also stopped forthwith. The statement adds that the prohibition of interstate travel by the federal government as part of COVID-19 containment efforts has largely been observed and breached by the people mandated to enforce it. These decisions are based on the recommendation of the State Task Force on COVID-19 following a review of the situation on the state boundaries, as the state emerges from partial lockdown, the state government has received reports of persistent extortion of vehicles conveying essential goods by some security officials, thus complicating an already challenging period. The special advisor said that the State Task Force on COVID-19 noted that the prohibition of interstate travel has been consistently implemented only when the state government officials have been deployed to the entry points. Therefore, the Kaduna State government has directed that roadblocks at state boundaries be dismantled henceforth. The only roadblocks authorized within the state are those that are mounted to enforce the 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew. Nigeria is to commence full digitization of ports across the country in March 2021. Executive Secretary, Nigerian Shippers Council, Hassan Bello, who made this known while disclosing the post-COVID plans in the sector, said this is in view of the lessons learned in reducing human interaction, efficiency and high productivity. Oyinaya Kaluoka reports.
Port operations continued during the lockdown in Nigeria as the country tackles COVID-19. The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council said the maritime industry learned some lessons and it is now time for inward search and reflection. Technology, he says, plays a crucial role in the way forward.
We want to get 90%, I said it, 90% digital by March next year. We're already about 60% average. So it's just to put it up. By that time, we'll have the cargo tracking node, we hope. Shippers Council must drive efficiency at the ports.
With the maritime sector contributing about 2 trillion naira to the country's GDP, rather than the expected 7 trillion naira annually, the council called on the Central Bank of Nigeria to support the development of the maritime industry.
But here is an industry that will give oil a run for its money if properly managed.
The Executive Secretary disclosed that as a result of the lesson learned due to COVID-19, Nigerian ports are working towards 24 hours weekly operations, multi-modal operations and delivery of cargoes, integrating all key players and provision of a national carrier. Oyinaya Kaluoka, NTA News.
Zinret in Jos has some reports for us. Hello, Zinret.
Hello, Ifoma, and thanks for joining us in Jos. As countries strive to recover losses accrued due to the COVID-19 pandemic, food security and sufficiency is one of the major areas of focus for government. To this end, Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Ahmed Idris Maji, distributed another batch of agricultural implements to farmers in Wase to boost mechanized farming in Plateau State. Kemfet Biangten tells us more.
The coronavirus pandemic, currently ravaging the globe, has affected world economies, Nigeria's included, and caused major setbacks to agricultural activities, threatening the food security and sufficiency drive of government. To consolidate on efforts earlier made by the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Ahmed Idris Maji, to revamp farming in the state with the distribution of tractors, cartons of herbicides and pesticides with knapsacks were distributed to different wards of Wase local government area. 80 individuals also received motorcycles and sewing machines as economic empowerment to cushion the effects of the pandemic.
I believe what he is doing can be able to solve some problems within the society. Brought in 4 tractors. These 4 tractors can be able to produce food that we can be able to feed Plateau.
The Deputy Speaker further urged beneficiaries to reciprocate the gesture by using implements provided to boost agriculture and the economy of the state. From Bashar district of Wase local government area, Comfort Biangten, NTA News.
Empowering women towards self-reliance and greater productivity in the face of the dwindling challenge posed by COVID-19 is a priority of the federal government. Minister, Women Affairs and Social Development, Dame Pauline Talent, said this in a message at the distribution of palliatives to women and other vulnerable groups in the southern zone of Plateau State. Indayang and Debagyang reports.
With the gradual reopening of the country, the concern is how to bring the Nigerian economy back on track and how those considered vulnerable members of the society are taken care of, especially as it relates to food. It is this that led the Minister of Women Affairs
to dissociate themselves from Democracy Day and, in effect, decognizing democracy as a chosen system of government. In a statement signed by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the President said Nigeria recognizes Democracy Day because for many decades since independence, the fight for the right for Nigerians to choose their own government in their own name was not complete. A prominent citizen of the country, Chief MKO Abiola, died trying to do just this. Yet, when groups such as the Coalition of Northern Groups, CNG, put out statements claiming that Democracy Day holds no purpose and the government somehow wishes for the northern states to be struggling, it is embarrassing not for the government but for the group, its members and their sponsors. They should thank their stars that we are operating a truly democratic government where the rights of free speech are guaranteed and protected. Similarly, no government has done more to foster democracy and freedom of speech in Nigeria than the current administration. Equally, the fact that the government is issuing this statement in response to this message is a statement that today Nigeria is a country where disagreements can be aired publicly through the press, not through less gentlemanly methods used in the past. We hope that CNG will consider the facts and reconsider the unhelpful and inaccurate message their statements contain when issuing them in future. And now on sports. English Premier League set to resume on Wednesday. Tamara Ebiwe brings us more on sports updates.
Nigeria international and captain of defunct Abiola Babes Football Club of Abeokuta, Dahiru Sadi, charges present-day club owners and proprietors on efficient management in order to boost productivity in the domestic leagues. Recalling the ease of club administration during his days at Abiola Babes FC, the one-time attacking midfielder and president of Nigerian Players Union advises stakeholders to emulate the passion of late Moshood Abiola.
We really missed him because and in terms of welfare for players and officials, I think it's the best. That's the best club to play for. We have a lot of package for players and officials. One of the packages then was once you have injury, all the injured players are taken to Germany.
In Europe, the English Premier League returns on Wednesday after nearly 3 months of stoppage due to COVID-19 pandemic, with Manchester City and Arsenal set to renew rivalry at the Etihad, while Sheffield United visit Aston Villa.
Both of the teams have been off for a very long time, so one cannot even know the fitness level of each of the team. But it will be definitely going to be a tough match, or this and this. It's a 50-50 situation.
Matches are to be played behind closed doors amid COVID-19 concerns. Tamara Ebiwe, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari sends condolences to the family of foremost Nigerian professor of medicine, Oladipo Akinkugbe, who through diligence and humility has left a lasting legacy of Nigeria's health sector and academia. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the President believes the late professor contributed immensely to the study of medicine in the country, serving variously as Pro-Chancellor, University of Port Harcourt, former Vice-Chancellor, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, former Vice-Chancellor, University of Ilorin, and former Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Ibadan. President Buhari joins the Nigerian Medical Association, government and people of Oyo State and the staff of the University College Hospital Ibadan in mourning the renowned scholar who studied and taught at some of the world's most prestigious universities, including the University of London, University of Oxford, England, and Harvard Medical School in Boston. President Buhari prays that the Almighty God will accept the soul of the departed and comfort his family. And that's Nationwide for today. We thank you so much for being a part of it. Thanks for being there.
A nation of great people, different tribes and languages, yet we are united in our diversity. All over the world, Nigerians are known to be very hardworking and resilient people. In our history as a nation, there have been many storms, but just like the eagle, we always soar very high above the storms. Together, as a nation, we stood against Ebola virus disease in 2014. And we conquered. Together as a nation, we shall stand against COVID-19 and we shall surely triumph. Let's do our part as citizens. Obey the health authorities, stay at home, practice social distancing and proper hygiene. When this is over, and very soon it will be, we shall dance again at the Calabar Carnival, the Eyo Festival, Celebration, Ojude-Oba Festival, and Aragongo Festival. When this is over, and very soon it will, we shall flock the beaches again. We shall attend our music concerts again. We shall invite the world once again at the Lagos City Marathon. When this is over, and very soon it will be, we can return to our hustle and bustle. We will gather at our churches and mosques. We shall return to our schools and institutions. Our hope is alive. We...
NTA International, Africa's heritage.